Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by an Emmy Award-winning documentary filmmaker and senior executive with NFL Films. You've seen his work in HBO's Hard Knocks, ESPN's Man in the Arena, and multiple ESPN 30 for 30 films. His latest project is Bye Bye Barry on Prime Video. We welcome Ken Rodgers.
How are you? It's great to be here.
Absolutely great, Ken. Let's go beyond the mic. You've told many stories in your career. Why was Barry's story the one you needed to tackle?
You know, it comes down to me not being able to understand Barry Sanders. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is that he walked away from football under 1,500 yards away from setting the all-time rushing record held by Walter Payton. He was in the prime of his career. He had fame. He had glory. He was a couple steps from the very top of the mountaintop of personal glory and personal achievement. And he walked away, and I never understood why. And a lot of people never understood why. Eminem actually says in the film that he's tried to figure this out. He's watched everything ever produced about Barry Sanders, and he still doesn't understand why he walked away. I think what it comes down to is that, you know, we tell our kids that you should play for the love of the game and you should be happy to be part of a team, and it's not about personal attention. But we actually, as Americans, really like personal attention. And we didn't understand Barry because he's different than most of us. He didn't have that gene that needed the attention or the validation of others. He always shunned the spotlight, despite the fact that every time he played football, he was the most amazing player on the football field. So there's a real dichotomy there I was trying to figure out of how could he be this way, because I'm not sure I could turn down such fame and attention.
As you told this story, how did your own emotions as a storyteller and a fan make you feel?
Nostalgic was one strong emotion. You know, you don't see anyone play like Barry Sanders anymore. Barry Sanders on the football field was the most exciting player, maybe in the history of the National Football League. You can talk about the great running backs of all time. You can argue Barry Sanders versus Emmitt Smith versus Jim Brown versus Earl Campbell versus whoever you want to talk about. But no one was more exciting than Barry Sanders. It brought me back to my childhood and brought me back to what it was like to watch someone that defied logic when it came to what they could do with their body, moving side to side the way he moved. It's just unparalleled. No one's ever moved like that on a football field. So I was nostalgic, and I was also curious, because when he walked away, he didn't just retire. He sent a fax and then got on an airplane and flew to London, England to escape the attention in his retirement. He didn't have a press conference. He didn't go on ESPN. He just went to London, England. So we were able to bring him back to London in this film with his four sons to explain why he went to London and why he just ran away, literally and figuratively, from his career. And it was revealing in his ability to separate himself from his public self, from the perception of him. And it made me just realize as a filmmaker that, you know, I'm not what I do. I'm a person, and Barry found value in himself outside of being a running back. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us.
In Bye Bye Barry, you not only hear from Barry Sanders, but interviews from stars on their thoughts of Barry. What was the one theme that encompassed all these thoughts about Barry?
A lot of the stars, Eminem, Jeff Daniels, Tim Allen, Jalen Rose, all these great fans of Barry. One thing they always brought up was Barry was the first person that they really remembered scoring a touchdown and handing the ball to the ref, and that's it. And that is such a unique attribute, certainly today in today's social media world, of not celebrating yourself. not just psychologically, but physically. You imagine expending all that energy and achieving your goal, crossing the goal line, and not jumping up and down celebrating. I mean, it feels like you would have to have that physical release. But Barry could decompress in a second. His shoulders would relax. He'd just stop, walk to the ref, hand the ball over, and slowly walk back to the sideline. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone be able to decompress in that way at the moment of ultimate success in crossing the goal line, and now I'm done. And now I'm not going to expend any more energy or celebrate. They were all amazed by that, and I'm still amazed by it.
Which team is still your dream team for Hard Knocks?
Every team that hasn't appeared on Hard Knocks is my dream team. I really do feel it might not happen before I retire, but I do feel like at some point every team will appear on the show. That's our goal, and that's the plan, and I stick by that. It's
time for One Big Question with the filmmaker of Bye Bye Barry on Prime Video. Ken Rodgers joins us beyond the mic. Ken, we get the conclusive closure on why Barry said goodbye, but looking at him today, did you see the same fire in Barry's eyes that he had as a player?
You know, I think he always had that pride in doing a job well, and you can tell he still feels that way, especially in his relationship with the city of Detroit and NFL fans as a whole. I think he's becoming more comfortable with that fame that he shunned so often as a player. I think in the next 10, 20 years, he's going to become one of the elder statesmen of sports in America. I think he represents so much. He represents the greatness on the field, but he also represents the right balance of personal, goodness along with greatness on the football field. There's a lot of different types of players, and I'm not sure there's anybody as a person who's better than Barry Sanders. And sometimes that's a detriment. You say, oh, that person's boring. But Barry's playing style and the fire in his eye, as you describe it, was so electric that he's not boring. He's as far away as boring as you can get. So I think he's going to continue to grow in stature and just become an icon for decades to come.
He's an incredible storyteller who likes hiking Thumb Butt Trail. His project Bye Bye Barry is on Prime Video. Ken Rodgers, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me anytime.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.